Hey everyone, welcome back to the overview office. In spite of audio files not working, in spite of corrupted files not working, third time's a charm, I'm here to talk to you today about Senjutsu Battle for Japan. This is a samurai showdown, a smackdown, a slice around, up and down, all around, to the back, and then through the back with a sharp sword down, showdown, samurai fight game. This is a tabletop miniature skirmish experience. It's only going to take 20-25 minutes. It's delightfully snappy and fresh in how the gameplay comes across. And if you are a fan of tabletop miniatures, if you are a fan of deck construction or card playing games where you get to customize what you bring to the table, and if you're just a hobbyist board gamer that thinks, hey, this beautiful thing looks beautiful, then you would be correct. It's why I used that adjective twice in one sentence, because it is beautiful. I've got a gorgeous little terrain set up here on a icy tundra with some rocks with all four of the characters that you can play in this game. I've got the Ronin up against the student, and then just as sideshows to cheer on whoever they want to, I've got the warrior and the master along with a broken cart. The broken cart, by the way, is the dark horse of this experience. I put my money on that one winning because nobody can break an already broken cart. Let me set the scene. The centuries-old authority of the Ashikaga shogunate has collapsed, casting feudal Japan into a brutal civil war. Clan has turned upon clan as daimyos, local liege lords, struggle to accumulate power and prestige. Each player controls a samurai, a skilled warrior pledged to the service of a daimyo and their clan. Their duty is to defeat any enemy that threatens their lord's ambitions and take their head for his pleasure. Blood will be spilled and great warriors will fall in the battle for Japan. I love the theme of this game. Some might say I suffer from samurai sickness, that I'm a fiend for feudal Japan, and I am. Whether it's Ghost of Tsushima, or whether it's The Last Samurai, whether it's any experience that allows me to dive in to this period of history and enjoy myself, I take advantage of it. I love the aesthetic of the game. I love the beautiful cherry blossoms set against a picturesque mountain background that is going to be contrasted heavily, all of that white, with the red spilled blood of your opponents when you face off in any one of these dueling terrains. This is meant to be a quick overview. I'm just telling you a little bit about Senjutsu Battle for Japan so that I can whet your appetite so that you can go, that might be a game for me. And that's my goal here. We'll get into the weeds, we'll get into the details, because the duck is in the details. Ooh, callback. And I'm going to let you know more and more about this game, but for right now, I just want to give you an overview to where you can see if it's something that you might be interested in. I liken this game to an iceberg. So I say that, and I'm not talking about the lettuce, and I'm not talking about it in a violent way. I'm talking about it simply in a conceptual aspect, because you can see like 10% of an iceberg above water and the other 90% lurks below. And I feel like that's a pretty apt description of what Senjutsu has to offer, because on the surface you see beautiful tabletop miniatures, you see lovely cards, you see interesting mechanical card play and delightful tactical decisions, and you see a gorgeous aesthetic. And that's enough to pull you in. But don't be surprised when you find that there's a lot lurking beneath the surface here. You have pre-generated decks that you can learn this game with. But after you get a hang of things, you can really start to build out whatever kind of deck you want. If you want to be the oligarch of offense, or if you want to just be this immovable mountain that doesn't move. You can be that in this game, based off of the decks that you build. As I said, this core box here that we've got, it comes with 4 characters. You've got the Ronin, who goes ksloish, ksloish. And then you've got the Master, who goes slishy slash, slishy slash. And then you've got the student here, who quotes the entire scene where Anakin tries to take down Obi-Wan, and it doesn't go well for Anakin. Spoiler alerts, sorry. And then you've got the warrior here, who is just there to do business, because that's what warriors do. All of them can play in unique fashions. Let's get into a smidge of a description of gameplay and the flow of a turn. And then after that, I'm going to let you loose. I'm going to let you loose to go do research on your own, to watch other videos that I'll put out there, and to just sit and stew and ruminate and think about how much you want to buy this game. Or how much you don't. But I mean, I hope you do, because I am excited. I want people to play with. I want to play with you in this game. As I mentioned, the game kind of already has a lot of things done for you, so you can just jump in and enjoy yourself. You've got your character cards that tell you whatever your starting advantage order is, whatever your hand size is, and whatever your wound threshold is. This is the limit that if it's ever reached or exceeded, you die. And you don't want to do that. But it's going to be harder and harder to overcome the fact that you're losing steam in a fight the more you get wounded, because wounds clutter up your hand. So that hand size there, the more wounds you get, the fewer actual cards you'll be able to use because you're wounded. You can't react and function as efficiently as you could when the fight started. Makes sense, right? And then after that, you've got this Kame branch. Now this thing starts off in a neutral position, and then you can move to 3 different types of branches, including one where you gain focus, which is kind of like a resource that you're able to use to activate the most intense parts of card effects, because every card that you play, you're not always going to resolve every part of its ability. Some of them are mandatory, some of them are optional, but some of them are locked away behind either a focus cost or a particular branch. For example, this has a focus cost, and this one here, which I will not drop anymore, has 2 different alternative effects that can be an additional element to your resolution as long as you're in the matching Kame branch. And that's part of the beauty of this, is figuring out what branch to move to, what card to play, and also what card type. Do you want it to be an offensive card? Do you want it to be a defensive card? Do you want it to be a meditative card? Or do you want it to be one of your core abilities? Because you have a core card and a core weapon attack, both of which don't block up your hand size. They're always around because you're always yourself, and you should, unless you're unlucky, always have your weapon. Let's look at the anatomy of a card. So you've got initiative order on here, you've got the type of card that it is, and you've got all of the effects that you can do. I want to get you excited, not scared. So when I show you this, be excited. These are all of the reference icons that you will want to watch and be aware of whenever you're playing the game. Some of them are in black. That means that's a mandatory effect when it shows on your card. Some of them are in white, and that means that's an optional effect. But look at all of look at all the things you can do. Think of all of the things that we could do together, against each other, with each other, in the same area as each other, whether we are opponents or allies, because this game can play 1 to 4 characters. So if I'm playing as myself and I have no other friends, then cool, I have 2 people ganging up on me and we're doing some AI resolutions on their cards, and I'm just trying to stay alive. Like the Bee Gees, I'm just trying to stay, staying alive. Staying alive. But if there's 2 to 4 players, you obviously have other opponents around the table. You have other cards that you're trying to match up against, or play before, or play after, depending on the initiative order of the card and what your goals are for that turn. Maybe you need them to move closer to you before you execute a crippling blow, because you could be wounded, you can have bleeding wounds, you can be hobbled, you can be stunned, and you could have poison or crippling poison be applied to you. There's a lot of different effects. There's a lot of different things to chew on, to masticate. And it's so fun to do so. But again, I'm not jumping into the weeds here. I'm not doing all of the work for you, just enough to get you enticed. There's even gorgeous artwork. I'm a graphic novel fan myself, so I can just look at these things. Even if I never play this game solo, I can just look at these things because they're beautiful. This is Senjutsu, Battle for Japan. Takes 20 minutes, 1 to 4 players. It's got a lot of oomph, vigor behind it. And I want you to feel that energy and feed off of it. Yeah. All right, this has been another trip to the Overview office. I hope you guys are having a good time. Thank you for being here. If you have any more questions, let me know. And obviously, we will have some more content out there to support and love on you guys so you can get the answers you need to enjoy Senjutsu. And if it's one you're interested in, let me know. All right, I had, on the other two cuts, I had a really fun call out, like a, sign off. And I don't anymore. It's just kind of like petering off. The energy is just